Okay, Wednesday, June 3rd, let's get right into it. This is the Bring Me the News and Novak weather briefing here for Wednesday. We're looking at a visible satellite loop right now. And from the visible satellite loop, you can see where our next weather maker is going to be coming in from. It's from the Dakotas, where some showers and, yes, even some thunderstorms now are starting to erupt. I'm not expecting this to be severe in activity, but as they push east now towards Minnesota overnight tonight, they are going to, no doubt, produce some wet areas. So keep the umbrella handy if you're in Minnesota or the eastern Dakotas as we get into this evening and overnight tonight. And then, of course, those showers will likely be over much of Minnesota and eastern Minnesota as we get in through the day and evening hours tomorrow, especially tomorrow evening and towards the midnight hour. I think that's when we stand the most likely opportunity to get wet in eastern Minnesota, and that would include the Twin Cities metro. And then we have a beautiful air mass that'll be coming in behind this storm system for Friday, so something to keep in mind, not only Friday, but for this weekend. Here are the temperatures across northern Minnesota right now. They're in the 70s and low 80s, just an absolutely beautiful air mass. And then as we go south, we are into the low to mid 80s here in southern Minnesota. Now these temperatures are about 5 to 10 degrees above average. We should be in the mid to upper 70s this time of the year. So yes, it is warmer than usual right now, but the humidity levels are low, and that produces a fairly low dew point. A dew point of around 50 degrees is actually comfortable, hence the reason why our temperatures overnight will sink down into the 60s, and that's a nice comfortable air mass for overnight tonight, which is really good news, for, at least from a sleeping standpoint. You could probably even open up the windows if you don't mind it being just a little bit warm outside. All right, here's a jet stream structure from the NAM computer model guidance, and I want you to focus on tomorrow now, and here it is. This is later tomorrow evening. Look, we have a jet streak at 30,000 feet of winds of up to in excess of 115 knots, and it's a west to east flow, so we call this a zonal flow, which means our weather systems are going to be moving fast. But as this jet streak moves into Minnesota overnight or tomorrow evening and then into the overnight hours and Friday morning, we likely will produce some shower and storm activity across much of Minnesota. Again, I'm not expecting a severe weather outbreak. I think that'll be confined to South Dakota and Nebraska, but keep the umbrella handy, especially during the later PM hours tomorrow over eastern Minnesota, because that's when you stand the greatest opportunity to get wet, and some of these showers could be fairly heavy. And then, which really looks great, is as we get into Friday now, and then Saturday of the weekend, our flow becomes more of a west and northwest direction. That is cooler, drier Canadian air that'll be funneling southeast into the upper Midwest, kind of similar to last weekend. So it's a pleasant air mass for this time of the year. If you like temperatures in the 70s and around 80 degrees with plenty of sunshine, well, you're going to love this weekend, because I think that's, for the most part, going to be what's on the menu for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Speaking of the shower activity for Thursday, take a look at the future radar now from the NAM Nest computer model guidance. And here are the showers right now in the Dakotas. You can see they're not widespread. They're scattered, and then they move into northwestern Minnesota overnight tonight. And then during the day tomorrow, we get a little bit of a respite as our atmosphere tends to become stable during the morning and afternoon hours. And then as we get into the later afternoon hours on Thursday and evening hours, that's when showers and storms look to erupt over central and eastern Minnesota. And it looks like areas like the Twin Cities and Rochester and the Brainerd Lakes area, they're likely going to be at least threatened by showers and a few thunderstorms as we get into the late afternoon and especially evening hours tomorrow. And then that front pushes through, and here comes that beautiful northwesterly flow out of Canada, that dry and cool, pleasantly cool northwest flow that will dominate not only Friday but into the weekend. Now, looking ahead, I really wanted to focus a little bit on early next week. This is the jet stream structure, by the way, from the European computer model guidance for Monday, and then here it is for Tuesday. And take a look at where our flow is coming from. The jet stream and jet streak is located west of Minnesota over the Dakotas and surging north into Canada. That is going to allow, the way it appears, significant and ample amounts of moisture to come up from the Gulf of Mexico into much of Minnesota and Wisconsin and Iowa. I am very concerned about a heavy rain event developing over much of the Midwest and upper Midwest as we get into Tuesday of next week. And we also could experience some severe weather as we head into Monday and Tuesday of next week. So this is something to think about. It's a long ways away, but the computer model guidance has been fairly consistent with showing this weather pattern for early next week. So that we will focus more on that, of course, as we get into this weekend and then Monday of next week. But again, please just keep this in mind that it looks really wet, especially on Tuesday of next week, and that appears to be our next opportunity for even some severe weather. All right, thank you for joining me this afternoon on this weather briefing. I hope everybody has a great evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.